And now, Jabroni Studios, in association with Big Herm Productions, is proud to present to you, recording from an undisclosed location in Oakdale, Connecticut, it's Chris Burns, it's Chris Lynch, this is Dysfunction Junction.
Welcome, everybody, to Dysfunction Junction.
Fuck yeah!
Coming back to you after a week off. Happy New Year. My name is Chris Burns. To my immediate left,
and Chris Lynch.
And the raunchy Bronco himself, producer, Big Herm, Michael Herman.
Hey, everybody, what's up?
How did we do? I mean, we made it. We're here. We got out of 2021 alive. We're in 2022.
We did.
We'll talk about that later. But
it's been a really freaky fucking year. Like end of year into 2022.
Yeah, all 10 days of it.
Oh, holy shit,
and even
dude.
the final days of 2021 were not.
Well, even freaky with fucking football. Like last night, I couldn't even watch the games.
I don't even want to talk about fucking football.
I don't blame you, dude. Honestly, I think
it's not a quick hit. But I, when the Falcons game was over, they had no shot to make the playoffs. They were eliminated last week. I'm sitting with my friends, and I said, I'm going to go to the highest bidder. Looked at my friend Daryl, your team's in the playoffs. Looked at my friend Skip, your team's in the playoffs. I texted a couple people. I'll go to the highest bidder. Now, Skip originally had the best bid, which was a 12-pack and a bag of pork rinds. I came back with a counteroffer. 12-pack. And spicy pork rinds.
Okay.
And of all the nerve of this fuck, he said no. So I took Daryl's offer, which was a potato chip and a nickel. So for the remaining NFL season, until the Super Bowl is played and it is over, I am 1,000% Green Bay Packer fan for these playoffs. I stayed in the NFC. The AFC people came back with shit offers. I don't want to tell you what they were, but...
Oh, I know. It's going to be very interesting from here forward, going into the playoffs. It's really anybody's game at this point, honestly.
And I think the extra game added to the season for a 17-game schedule, certainly it added an extra fold to the fabric where... You know, you had all these... There's usually one or two teams that have that... Well, if San Francisco loses and New Orleans wins and Mike does the hokey pokey and Lynch turns himself around, then maybe possibly next Sunday the Jets could potentially get in. Usually have one or two. You had 7 teams coming into this weekend playing the bubble game.
Well, during the Chargers game, at the very end of the game, when open Mike... Oh, he was just going to let it tie so we could both go into the playoffs. What a kick in the balls is that?
Right?
Seriously. I mean,
we joked about it because it was on one of the TVs and it had no sound.
It would have kicked out Pittsburgh immediately.
Yeah.
They'd be done, sitting on the bench. What the
If you play hard and you tie, that's good enough for me. If you co-conspire and go, you know what? If we just fuck off for the next 30 minutes, Pittsburgh doesn't get in. That's just stupid. That's ass backward.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty.
Oh,
but
your team made the playoffs.
Yes, it did.
Did your team make the playoffs?
No, we didn't.
So you could go to the highest bidder too. Send your bids to Big Herm, and he will root for your team if you come in with a good enough.
You come in with a good enough offer, I'll root for whoever you want.
Right. Except the Saints, because fuck the Saints. Your wife is a Saints fan.
That's all right.
I understand.
That's all right. She's not divorcing me over that shit. Fuck the Saints.
I'd divorce her ass over that. We couldn't live in the same house.
I will say that over the last 2 years, the Saints have... We talked about this maybe 2 years ago, you and I personally. The Saints have built such a fucking dynasty to this point where, you know what, good on them for being where they are.
They're always competitive.
Yeah,
they've won one championship, but
they
always
fight for where the fuck where they lay in the rankings.
Yeah,
they always fight for it, and you know what? Good on them, man.
And with Tampa being as good as they've been in the last 2 years, it makes the Saints fight even harder,
extra hard.
Right. I mean, the NFC South was always a laughingstock. One team would rise up, whether it was Atlanta or Tampa, Carolina,
right,
whoever, and the rest of them blew. Once in a blue moon, you'd have two teams battling for that spot. But it looked a lot like the AFC East for a while, where it was the Patriots and then there's everybody else. Now that the Bills have come up and they've strengthened themselves in more ways than one. Now it's a battle. The Bills and the Patriots are both going to the playoffs.
Right.
They're eventually probably going to knock heads, and we'll see who's better.
Yeah, it's just a weird platform right now with how they laid out.
But a very interesting year.
Yeah.
Insofar as how the NFL worked out.
Yeah. So, Chris, quick hit.
Yeah. Oh God. So I returned to the wonderful world of World Wrestling Entertainment Live this past Friday night as you're listening to this at Mohegan Sun Arena. Thank you very much to the Bingham family. I went with them. And I texted you guys about it, but I took Emma 2 years ago to Monday Night Raw, and I spent more time watching her and her reactions than I paid any attention to the show itself. So this time I went, blinders. It's the show. It's the show. Mike and I went to Monday Night Raw a few times when in its infancy, and you had a packed-ass arena and this little lit-up doorway where they would come through. Now you have 3/4 of the arena full, and this production, this giant HD LED screen, lights and fucking bombs and sparklers and snot and ass everywhere. And the production value is so amazing. And the show was fun. I forgot how much fun it could be sitting in that crowd. Everybody's cheering and chanting and doing their thing. I like people watching at these shows, but I was watching the show and people listening. And, everybody was fired up. Everybody had a good time. I can't think of one person that I knew who went to that show who said it wasn't worth what I paid for it. And that's the thing. It's entertainment. It's not sports. It's sports-like, hence the phrase sports entertainment. But it was fun nonetheless. I forgot how much fun I used to have at these things. And like I was telling you guys, 12 cameras, 2 jibs. Christ, even the ring posts and one side of the ring that faces the stationary hard camera has a light-up LED display. So while you're in the ring doing this, the light-up display says, Strikers McLynch. It's the coolest fucking thing. They really know how to put on a world-class show. I've never doubted that, But I'll say this to Herm, because you were, like me, at WrestleMania 11 back in 13/21. And it was an event. It looked great. You can watch it on the Peacock Network right now and see, all the lights and gizmos. Their production now for a basic Friday night show buries everything else except for WrestleMania, which this year is going to be held in Dallas. And Bill, for his birthday yesterday, my friend Bill received tickets to WrestleMania from his beautiful wife.
Nice.
And
cool.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing night 1 or night 2. That's another thing. 2 nights. I couldn't do that. You couldn't pay me enough to go sit in fucking Arlington AT&T Stadium twice in 2 days for wrestling. The 17-hour event you've been waiting for,
Right?
Because and another thing. Who in the fuck thought it was a good idea for jackass number 1, Johnny Knoxville, to be a part of WWE?
I don't get that at all.
I don't either. Are they promoting a movie? Do you know?
Was there a cross promotion of some sort?
They said nothing.
There's got to be.
There's always a fucking
exactly.
reason.
There's always a
reason.
There's got to be.
Nothing's ever random with things.
Right. But he did a video. I watched the pay-per-view event with Bill and his family on January 1st. And they had a little, not a TikTok video, but like a Twitter video of Johnny Knoxville. Yeah, I've done all this in my life and this and that and the other thing, but one thing I've always wanted to do is be in the Royal Rumble. I'm like, oh, Christ, here it comes. So there we are, Friday night. He comes whipping out of the backstage area through this dude named Sami Zayn out of the ring, cheering his ass off, and then somebody comes on the video board and says, well, Johnny Knoxville is now officially entered into the Royal Rumble. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's not like, I don't know how many years ago it was, Drew Carey was in the goddamn Royal Rumble. That Drew Carey.
Didn't he, I'm trying to think of what his role was in that event.
I don't know, but he joined. He was like a host or something. No, but he got in the Royal Rumble, and there he was. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? But yeah, it was fun. I don't watch on the regular anymore, but it was fun to be there. I knew most of the performers by sight and by name. Couple, I had to elbow somebody. Who the fuck is that guy? Seriously, who the fuck is that guy? But no, it was a good time. I really, really enjoyed
I'm
myself.
glad I had a good time. You know,
The kids had a blast too. All the kids that went with us, they had a blast. And and thank God to the moms that bring their kids to the show, because there was a lot of bumper in that crowd. Leather pants and low cut shirt.
I'm sure there was.
Boobs and butt, and they weren't like ugly bitches. Like when Herm and I would go to the shows back in the day, it was like 90% dudes, couple females that got dragged along by a boyfriend or a husband or somebody. Now, dude, they're not quite like the hooers that we would see at Bellator.
Hooers.
But there was some talent in that crowd. Ooh, yes.
It was good. You had a good time.
Thank you.
That's.
I really did. And if
Is
you guys,
it? Is it?
go ahead.
Is it that, or is it that we were 20, so 20-year-old girls really could care less? But now you've got like younger moms bringing.
That's
their
what I'm
kids.
thinking.
So now you've got like hot moms in the group. Is really what it is.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's not the demographic. Maybe it's just the hot moms are taking their kids. To
Well,
the,
they
to the
do,
shit now.
especially with all the females that are a part of the show now. It draws a bigger female crowd.
Right,
But
right,
I
right.
completely agree with what you
Right,
said.
we had like 3 hot girls in the whole stable.
yeah.
Back when we were, and
and they were managers or
right
seconds
managers
or whatever.
seconds, or they weren't actually competing.
They were eye candy, but now the eye candy can get it on in the
Right,
ring.
they just started that when you and I kind of phased out going to a lot of shows. They had just started like the bra and panty matches.
Yep, Trish Stratus and Lita
and having the girls do some sort of competition.
I know, right?
But
Tori Wilson.
Yeah.
now they're legitimately wrestling.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. But I had a great time. If you ever get a chance to go, I know when you worked at Mosun, you couldn't go into the arena and while you were working, but if they come around again, tickets are like $20. They're dirt fucking cheap.
Yeah. I mean,
go see it for the spectacle that it is.
yeah, they're looking to get asses in the seats, so which I understand, and that's a huge deal right now with them. It looked like a really good time. Glad you had a good time. I think it was a good boost to Mosun to have that event there.
Have it come back, yeah. Because
Have
they
it come back
hadn't been
because
there
it's
in
been
quite a
a
while.
long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Even pre-COVID, it was like 2017 or so. The last time
easily 2017 or 2018.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember. I was still working there.
You have
Yeah.
to remember that back then, that Mosun's not a large venue.
No, with 10,000 seats, and when you cut off a quarter of the seats.
When you cut off a quarter to half of the seats for
but
production and ring.
Here's the challenge. When Fox, in 30 days, when Fox lets go of the exclusive rights and it goes up on the WWE on Peacock, they make this place look gigantic. And I tell people all the time.
That's camera angle.
Whatever,
It-
yeah,
it-
but
it
whatever.
it's never that
There's
big.
not a bad seat in that house. Even when you're sitting there, it looks kind of small.
Do you remember, what year was it? I want to say like 2010, 2011 when they had a wrestling match there. And they were in the valet garage filming with wrestlers scrapping it out down in valet.
Yeah.
It made the place look fucking huge.
Yeah. But like it is camera tricks, let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
But-
because it's all smoke and mirrors at that point.
Yeah.
And then you get into the arena and you can put a camera.
It's also because it's a 2-dimensional picture and you get no depth perception.
Exactly. Now,
It's truly a trick.
Hartford Civic Center is not a big building either, 12, 13,000
No, but it
seats.
looks like there's 50,000 people.
Damn
in there.
right. When you watch that WrestleMania, it looks like
When
they
you
got
do a wide shot and you
67,000
cover
people.
the whole place because you don't get depth.
Right.
You just see a flat group of 50,000 people and there's like 6,000 in there. You know what I mean? On
and
an
you see
average
that
night.
camera angle that from like the ring towards the crowd.
Yeah.
It's all full. Mm-hmm. Whereas 2 rows above that, it's fucking empty as shit.
Oh, this place was packed. I was surprised.
No, I'm glad. I mean, going into what we're going through now, right now with the variant, I understand that the venues are looking to get packed asses in the seats to entertain and get people out of the house. Responsibility for myself or anybody else that I would know, I would hope that they, just follow the rules and just go through with it.
Right. There were people wearing masks. I will say that.
Yes,
you had
there were.
you have a choice.
Yes.
Which I chose to as fully vaccinated, and if I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. I chose not to wear a mask, but some in our party did, Seminar Row, people all over the arena, they wanted to mask up. Good on them.
Well, and it just goes to show that there's a level of respect for each other where they understand what you feel and and you understand what they feel.
And nobody gave people wearing masks shit, and no mask wearers gave
And
people
that's all-
without a mask shit. And that's something I've been waiting for a long time, is just mutual respect.
And that's all I ask with this whole pandemic, especially with the variant coming up. And oh, by the way, there's another variant coming up.
What, we're already done with Omnicorn?
There's another variant coming up in Ukraine.
Oh,
and
God.
I mean, my wife and I had talked about this earlier. It's the fucking flu, and it's going to mutate. It's going to change itself to be persistent, and that's the point of a virus. Mm-hmm. It's self-sustaining, and it's going to change with people's antibodies and and what they have predisposed in them.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna. We said this 2 weeks ago. It's gonna be booster.
It's here.
It's here. It's gonna be a booster shot for every fucking kid that goes into school, and it's gonna be a booster shot that we're all gonna have to get at some point.
I love that meme that goes around with the kid from We're the Millers. He goes, "Wait, can we still get regular sick?" All right, Herb's got a quick hit, and he said he was saving it. We have our usual pre-production discussion, and he started a sentence. He goes, "Nope, I'm a quick hit it tonight." So let's give the floor to Big Herb.
All right, so I'm flipping through a Google feed today, and I noticed and came across an article. Massachusetts is going to ban the sale of all nips statewide starting March or April of 2022.
For what reason?
They think it's going to save on a lot of plastic, and they think it's going to save on a lot of the trash that ends up, because the nip bottles end up on the side of the road.
Oh, or in parking lots, I see them everywhere.
Right. So now they're not going to buy nips. They're just going to buy the little tiny bottles. And instead of buying 4 nips, they buy 2 little tiny bottles. So now we're just going to have other sizes of bottles strewn. The problem isn't that there isn't the nips. The problem is the lack of respect and caring of the people that are consuming the alcohol. It doesn't matter what you change the bottle to. The disrespect for whoever's private property you're throwing your shit on is still going to be there. If Massachusetts would really, really like to do something about the use of plastics, what about all the fucking water bottles these assholes are drinking every goddamn day?
With
And
no
you see
deposit.
Single-use 16.9 ounce bottles of water that you see moms trucking home 7 cases of that shit for their kids. Where are those bottles? Who cares about those?
Yeah.
All right.
I see them
Because
flattened in parking lots.
How
all
many
over.
people actually, if they are returnable, who actually returns them?
So I have a purified drinking water from Target. Here are the states that will refund you.
This is from Target?
Yeah.
It tastes like rich white people.
Hawaii, Connecticut,
Target's
Maine.
rich white people?
That's what I always say.
Yeah. Hawaii, Connecticut, Maine, New York. No cash fund in California.
Right, so it's garbage. It's in 47 other states, it's garbage,
So
including Massachusetts. But nobody's stopping the use of these things.
you can impose any tax you want, or you can impose any tariff you want on a bottle that's this tall, what, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, as tall as this mic. You can impose any tax or tariff on that. It's not going to stop somebody from being fucking disrespectful and just not
And irresponsible.
irresponsible and throwing it out the fucking window. And I said that to several people. One of my very good friends who is owner of a liquor store up in Brooklyn, Connecticut, said the same thing. He's like, we had to. They say it's a tax, but it's not a tax. I'm like, no, it's a fucking tax. You're paying 5 cents more to buy this convenience bottle, and that's just what it is. It's convenience.
Yeah.
You get no refund if you were to return it, unlike this bottle right here that I'm holding, which is a purified drinking water from
Target.
Great and Good and Gather from Target. If I were to return this tomorrow, I get 5 cents for it. They're charging an automatic flat tax on top of what you're paying for your product because it's supposed to dilute pollution. Bullshit. Because I drive down the road every day and see pint bottles
Just thrown asunder.
No, the actual tax isn't supposed to dilute pollution. The actual tax is trackable, and with all vendors, it's actually has to be trackable through their sales system. So at the end of the month, they know exactly how many of those bottles they sold. That particular money is thrown into a fund that's used to help process and keep up with that shit. It has nothing to do with cleaning up. It's literally about the fact that those bottles are screwing up the landfills, and the 5-cent tax on each bottle is going to recoup and change that from the landfills to a different processing method.
Well, the problem I have with that, Mike, is that you charge 5 cents for the convenience of buying a nip. It's still going to get thrown out the window down the side of the road somewhere.
Yeah.
And-
The 5 cents isn't to
If you're an irresponsible asshole.
isn't supposed to stop you from buying the nip.
And it is a separate line item because you can't charge that as revenue to your business. That is a different recuperation from, all right, this is a nip. I buy it. I drink it. I throw it away. I do the responsible thing and put it in a recycle bin. I'm an asshole, and I going down the road, and I throw it out my fucking window. So now this is where it impacts public works, small municipalities. We're already trying to clean up bullshit on the side of the road that people, like, they dump fucking couches right down here.
Yeah.
You go down 163 towards the dump,
I have.
and they dump fucking couches down there, which the landfill has to go pick up, deliver, process. All right, so that's an hour and a half's worth of fucking payroll that you just wasted because you're fucking irresponsible. Fuck you.
Or you could sell it for $200 on...
Or just give it away.
And listen to Stryker talk shit on you
That's
while you're
what I'm
doing
talking
it.
about,
No, I'll just
exactly.
dump it on the side of the road.
But my point is, fuck you, because you don't have the fucking balls and responsibility or the wherewithal to do the right fucking thing, and I have to pay for it in my mill rate.
Those people get no respect from me.
I fuck them. I don't care. Fuck you.
That's right. Fuck them.
Fuck you. You want to throw a fucking Coke can out the window? By all means. I'm going to pick it up and put it back in my truck if I see you fucking do it. And I'll figure out where the fuck you live and take the bag full of fucking trash that you spill and put it right in your fucking front porch.
I'm glad I don't throw shit out the window. I would have PTSD having him follow me home and shit.
Well, Chris, it's the mentality.
I pray motherfuckers follow me home. I pray.
All right, yeah, okay. Here.
I pray people follow me back to my house.
Here.
That's what I'm talking,
exactly.
kids.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking, kid. Follow me back to my house. Don't set foot on the front lawn, no.
That's it. Be a big man, big man. Come on.
It's that entitlement post our generation that we within our age group that we went through. It's that fucking entitlement that everybody else is going to clean up our fucking mess.
Yeah, but our parents, so, I don't know about all parents, but I remember watching my granddad or my dad or somebody huck a Coke can out the window or whatever the fuck, and until that Indian cried on that commercial, nobody gave a fuck. Now you want to clean up, we got to save our planet. I get that. Let's be responsible human beings. But those same people, and I know there are people that want the pristine interior of the car who will smoke a cigarette, polluting your car, making it smell like shit if you're a smoker, I'm sorry, and then huck that fiberglass filter out the window when they're done with their smoke. Same thing. And, I mean, I like to walk. I'll walk up and down the street that I live on, and cigarette butts. You will find literally anywhere from 10 to 15 in a half-mile stretch. It's not as much as it used to be.
No.
Because I think people are shying away from smoking for health reasons and price. But you don't see me, hucking my chog out the window. I have a bottle. I'll tuck it in, and when that thing gets full, I throw it in the trash. I get a new one. I put it in. Personal responsibility is something that everybody should have.
Exactly what I was going to say, Chris. It's personal responsibility. You have to own your own shit. at certain points in your life, where whether it's taking your garbage out, recycling. I'll admit I don't bring my fucking cans and bottles back to get redeemed for 5 cents.
Nope.
I bring it to the landfill, I put it through recycling, and let that process do its thing.
There's an old guy in our apartment complex, a couple doors down from me, and every week or so I empty the recycling, separate the non-refundables from the refundables, and the non-refundables go in a white bag. The ones he can return go in a black bag, and we have a system. He knows this, so he'll look in the bin. I catch him every now and again looking in. Is there a black bag in there? Yep. Coke cans, water bottles, beer cans, what have you. He'll take them, and he returns them. Good on him. I don't have the time or the patience to go and huck these bags down to Big Y in that automatic crusher gimmick.
Well, and that's been the problem since COVID, is that like a lot of places aren't accepting, finger quotes, returns, and that one person per lobby. So you take an hour and a half, 2 hours out of your day just to do the responsible thing, but then you're punished for it because you just have to fucking stand there and wait. There's no like positive return in that whole investment, and
I say just ditch the whole thing. Get a one of those blue bins from the city, throw them in there. Let the trash dudes come and pick them up. The bottle deposit is a very 50s thing, and it started with the glass Coke bottles and the milk bottles back in the day.
Milk bottles at the time I could understand, because you paid a deposit to not reuse that bottle, but to get another bottle without being charged that extra deposit. So let's say in milkmen in the 50s and 60s, they charge what, $2 per bottle, if that, maybe 75 cents. You put your empty bottle in your little silver milk bin. They come and take those empty bottles back, leave you fresh bottles of milk in the insulated and cooled bin. That covers the cost of them sanitizing, cleaning, and reusing that bottle. I understand that concept. Right now, with the way our recycling business is going in the country, it's more about a matter of, honestly, 2 years ago, they were talking about putting refunds on like Powerade bottles, milk jugs, everything plastic or metal. Plastic, metal. Why? What are we benefiting from that? Other than inconvenience and storage to put these fucking things in places that you don't have the room for in your house.
What's that phrase I'm looking for? The road to hell is paved in good intention. I understand the intention. I understand how...
Well, I do as well.
Yeah,
but,
I understand how you put even on a Powerade Gatorade bottle, put a 5-cent deposit on that. You run it through the crusher machine at Big Y or whatever locality supermarket gimmick you have in New Zealand. We still want to know who you are. Junction Dysfunction Show at gmail.com.
Please email us.
Yes, I want to know who our New Zealand friends are. You know, wherever you are, whatever the protocol is, I understand it. The intention is good. It's the execution is where it all falls apart.
Yeah, in today's world with like supply chain problems and...
Was that the drive of what you were trying to do here?
No.
No? No. We'll get back to you in a minute.
Keep going.
I'm gonna have finish your thought because I want to know where you're going with it.
Yeah, I don't mean to hijack the
No, it's good. It's good.
This thought. It's just like you say, that's a very like touchy topic with me, is that I am all about resources, reusing resources and recycling resources and just making the best of what we have. However, when you impose a tariff or tax on something that is not tangible, I can go to any liquor store right now and buy a sleeve of fucking nips, drink them all, pass them out to my friends. The 6 I pass out to my friends, what they do with them is on their back. I take mine, I put them in the recycle bin. The recycle bin goes to the transfer station processes it properly, blah, 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 blah. Here's the problem with processing plastic and why they don't want plastic bags in Like if you have a trash bag full of Miller Lite cans or Mountain Dew bottles. I don't know if you've ever seen these videos where what the crusher looks like.
Yeah.
It gets hot and it melts and it jams the system, and it takes 2 hours to process a third of much shit.
I can solve that problem in 2 notes. Take me camping.
Just
I will
burn it.
take care of all of your plastic and glass bottle needs. Hell, I've burned a beer can before.
Oh, but the problem is
At Mike's house.
they want to recycle. That's the whole point of processing and recycling.
It's not like these plastics or the aluminum or the glass is a, what do you call it, a non-renewable resource. Plastic, you make glass, you make aluminum. It's not like they're mining for this shit in Texas where we need to have
Well, the point
these
is
restrictions.
they take these water bottles, they grind it through, and then they reprocess it, and they make sanitized new pieces of plastic to use as another vessel. Same thing with aluminum. Same thing with glass. The whole point of recycling is to break it down to its bare components, sanitize, recycle,
Are you dying?
No.
Please don't die.
It's at least
Every fucking week, dude.
at least once an
I
episode.
got a little bit of a cold this week.
COVID.
No, I tested.
All right, good.
But
Pregnant?
the whole
Just a little.
Go ahead, Chris.
the whole point of recycling is to do just that. You want to break it down to its base components, sanitize, clean, repurpose, reuse. And when you litter like that and you throw your fucking water bottles out the side of your truck, or your nips or your pint bottles, and that's the thing that kills me, is that they're worried about the nips themselves. How many pint bottles do you see on the side of the road when you drive through work? Because you drive all over the fucking place.
There's not a time I don't see Red Cap Majorska thrown asunder on the streets of Middletown, Rocky Hill, Cromwell, Newington, Norwich, New London. Take your pick.
It's not a solution to a problem. It's a Band-Aid to a situation, and they're trying to get that revenue to reinvest. And I understand what they're doing. They're trying to reinvest that investment back into the system to help alleviate any other recycling problems they have. I fucking get that.
Right. I am ridiculously curious where you were really going with this, but loved every point you made.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't mean to trigger anybody or anything with this. But before we move on to the main part of our story, my initial point was that Massachusetts keeps coming up with these harebrained, fucked up laws.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, so the NIP one, we're going to ban the sale of just menthol cigarettes.
I remember that.
Okay, so that was kind of where I was going with, like, what the fuck is going on in Massachusetts? They kind of got to get rid of all these old bullshit blue laws they have on the books, and they kind of need to start the fuck over. I understand there's some history there, but I don't know what the hell they're doing up there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different states touch. 6, if you count New York. 6 different states physically touch Massachusetts. One of these states, whether it be us or Vermont or someone else, needs to absorb Massachusetts into their state, call it Vermontachusetts.
Yeah, like
and
something.
Just basically take their entire legislature, kick them out, bring in the Vermont folk. They know what they're doing. I like Vermont. I like what they do. I don't think we need Connecticut to absorb Massachusetts. Ned Lamont does not need any more fucking power.
We have enough fucking problems.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Call it Big Rhode Island.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on
Big
in
Rhodey.
Massachusetts, but they've come up with a few laws in the past few years that are just like right out of left field. And I don't know. Somebody needs to take a really hard look at what the hell is going on in Massachusetts.
The state that gave us the Kennedys is fucking this all up.
Era.
Yeah, but I think a little people put too much on the Kennedys.
I'm not saying all the Kennedys. You have good Kennedys and bad Kennedys. For every John, you had Ted.
Hey, I like Ted. He's a regular dude.
He's a regular dude. Not a good date.
No,
but,
I didn't.
you know,
No,
regular dude.
It depends.
If you like swimming,
if you like swimming, he's a great dude.
go out with Ted.
Just don't go for a ride
Couple of
through
drinks. We're
Massapequa.
gonna have a couple of drinks. Go for a swim. Mwah, it's a great night, baby. Let's
Yeah,
go.
don't go through a ride through Massapequa over the bridge.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Era.
And when we come back, Lynch is going to lead the show for you all this week. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, folks. So it's been a really crappy end of 2021 to leading into 2022 with celebrity deaths and just unexpected things that have happened. The last 2 weeks have been really, really like, wow. And we had talked about this off air, and Herm brought up the big point is that, like, look, dude, we're at the age where this is bound to happen. Mm-hmm. We're going to lose our icons. We're going to lose our people that we respect and we looked up to.
One point that I made
but
on the car ride over here, if you don't mind me.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we were, I'm sure this happened throughout history, and I can't remember too many deaths when I was a kid, and I say 8 years old, but even through my teens, where you were floored. Maybe Thurman Munson, maybe,
Oh, absolutely.
someone like a Dale Earnhardt or a sitting president or somebody. I'm sure our parents went through it. And as you get older, these people become, and weaved into your fabric. And as a kid, you're like, oh, shit, Michael Landon died? Okay, so we're not getting Highway to Heaven next season. But now you're like, holy shit. And we're going to talk about these names in just a few minutes. But it didn't have the same impact when we were younger.
Right, and what Herm said to me earlier, like 2 days ago, he's like, look, dude, the older we get, the more of these names make a bigger impact on your life.
Yeah, especially now, even with a 24-hour news cycle where 4 minutes after somebody dies, I use Prince as the example all the time. Within minute, the news was out there.
Yeah, and these are people that I respect and looked up to all my life and are icons in their industry, and that holy shit, I wish I could have achieved these goals and made my platform what they did. The first we're going to talk about is Betty White. 99 years old.
3 weeks from her 100th birthday.
That's what's fucking killing me, is that, like, just a couple more days, she could have hit the 100-year-old mark and made that mark, where basically one of the oldest living celebrities on the planet. Again, an icon. A staple in my grandmother's house every fucking Saturday.
Oh, Christ, everybody's house.
Was the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
B. Arthur, Rue McClanahan,
Yep.
Estelle Getty, Betty White, and even before that, in 1954, she had her own television variety show.
Right, and she was on, like, every fucking game show in the 70s.
She was on Concentration, Match Game,
Tattletales.
Yeah. Everything you could think of in the 60s and 70s. And she never took herself too seriously, but yet when she did her job, she took it very seriously.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can see some of those, like the Snickers commercial from a few years ago.
That was one of the best commercials in the last 20 years.
She did, since we were just talking about the product earlier, she did a guest host spot on WWE Monday Night Raw once.
Yes,
and
she did.
Killed it. I wasn't watching the product. I heard Betty White's going to be on. That was my destination, to watch her. And her and Bob Barker did it within weeks of each other, and they both knocked it out of the park.
And anybody who hasn't seen it, there is a Betty White documentary on Netflix right now. I think it's Netflix or
Nice.
Amazon. I think it's Netflix. Look it up. This was made 2 years ago, and it's a retrospective into her career and how she came up and how she came through the ranks in Hollywood and in her career. Beautiful. I got to say, when she was in her prime, she was fucking beautiful.
Oh yeah, even in the 70s,
even in the 70s,
she's in her late 40s, early 50s at that point. She's still the smile and the eyes, and
when she was on Mary Tyler Moore,
yes,
holy shit. I mean, like, you look at her and she was just so witty, and just
I may have had an improper thought or two about Mary Tyler Moore.
I'm probably sure you did.
Might have been last week. I don't know.
She went on from Mary Tyler Moore to, I think, guest appearances on Rhoda.
Yeah.
And then she went through this lull in her career where she would just do like variety shows, game shows, that ilk in the 70s. And then here comes 1985 with the Golden Girls. She has a reignition of her career. And God damn it, I think she was the best person to play Rose Nyland that anybody could have chose.
Oh, yeah.
She was just genuine and brilliant and just so witty.
She played that role so
She
perfectly.
played dumb so perfectly.
That's where I was going. Exactly.
She played dumb so perfectly that you believed that she's a real person. And just a good soul, a good person. And you know, God rest you. I hope that you fulfilled everything you wanted to in your life in 99 years on the planet.
99 years, 49 weeks, and a handful of hours, man. Come on. We should all strive to have not only her accomplishments, which are extraordinary, but that length of life.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
Incredible.
It's amazing. And
that length of life under the conditions she was still living in.
Yeah, she wasn't like, you know
what I mean? She was still relatively healthy. She was aged,
with the exception of the stroke,
right?
Not long before her death. She's still acting. She's still doing things, and
she was still whip smart.
I know people that are in their 50s and 60s who didn't have half the energy that woman had. One of the things, though,
don't talk about me like that.
I wasn't talking about you specifically, but if the shoe fits, buy it in every color. One of the things that, and I was talking to Herm about this on the way over, is that to listen to people, yes, it's tragedy is a really bad word to use with the death of Betty White. Every death is tragic in its own way, unless you're Chris Benoit. Fuck that guy. But, you know, to listen to certain people talk about Betty White on the day or the days after she passed, normal people like you and me that we run across in everyday life, these people act like they went fishing with her last week. Because I'm going to miss Betty White. And Herm put it best, and I think I'm going to paraphrase, but if I get it wrong, stop me. You know, you're going to miss her work. You can't miss who you don't know. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, we're going to miss that. We're going to miss that her work, that we're not going to get any presence or any new work or out of her. All right, because we've been around so long and we've watched her body of work. All right, and that's why we feel we know her, but we really don't know her. Mm-hmm. So we're going to miss that we're not getting anything new from Betty White, but I don't miss Betty White personally. I miss that we're not going to be able to see any new stuff from her and that she's not going to be around to do her thing.
Yeah, we don't have that connection anymore. Right. She was like the everyman, finger quotes, to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just going through life, going through the process, and going through what we would go through on a day-to-day basis. I mean, she went on from that to another renaissance in movies with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, and then the Super Bowl commercials.
And Hot in Cleveland.
Hot in Cleveland with Riley Bertinelli. People like make fun of me, but I thought that was a great fucking show.
It was interesting. It was entertaining.
I thought it was a really good show.
I only caught it a few times, but it was funny.
It's just like you can relate to her at a level where she's your grandma. She's your crazy aunt.
Well put. She was like America's grandma.
She was like America's grandma and your crazy aunt all wrapped into one. And you could relate to her because I knew that person when I was 12, 13 years old. And I grew up with that person. And then I grew up watching her portray that person on television in the Golden Girls. The ditzy, dummy Rose Nyland, who is actually smarter than you think and kind of like playing dumb to the point where she takes advantage of that.
Best episode was the dance marathon.
That was fucking amazing. And so if you go on Pluto TV, I think they have a Golden Girls channel. Uh-huh. That's what I'll be watching tonight.
Nice. Yeah. Any thoughts on the Betty White there, sir?
No, that's pretty much it. We
All
covered
right.
it.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better on the Betty White situation. Unfortunately, not the only one to go. Hit it, Lynch.
All right, so the most recent one that really fucking floored me and kind of made me really sad was Bob Saget, 65 years old.
Yep.
Death to unknown reasons at this point. They haven't determined what the cause of death was.
They did release a statement saying it was natural, no foul play, no
Right,
drugs,
Right,
no
no
alcohol.
drugs, no alcohol,
Right,
no
but
foul
they-
play.
They did say in that statement, and Herm and I were talking about on the way here, when they found him, his left arm was on his chest and his right arm was behind his head,
like
like
he had just
taking a
laid
nap.
down to take a nap and rest and just never woke up.
So his daughter, one of his daughters, 34 years old, had received a text from him about an hour before he perished.
What in the fuck? I like that your screensaver is beautiful meat.
It's pastrami.
I love it. I want some now. Now!
So his daughter, his oldest daughter, 34 years old, had received a text from him about an hour and a half before he perished. And basically it just read saying, "Thank you, I love you. See you soon." And that kind of like choked me up when I read that. I mean,
The thing that got me the most was you're in a hotel room 3,000 miles away from home. You're doing a tour.
he had just done a show.
Yeah. And, they say, you'll remember where you were when this. Okay, I remember where I was when I heard the news of Bob Saget. I was peeing at my friend Mark's house right after the Falcons Saints debacle finished, and my phone buzzed, and it was, I don't remember what news site it was, is Bob Saget found dead in Orlando hotel room. And I was like, whoa! Mark thinks I'm peeing all over his bathroom. I come in and goes, everything all right? I'm like, dude, Bob Saget died. The air comes out of the balloon. We're all like, much like with the Betty White thing, you're just like, oh, wow, no, fuck. It was just like that.
No, I will say that, like, his show in the 80s and 90s was not particularly my cup of tea, Family House. You know what? It was harmless, family entertainment.
I like the newer one better than the old one.
The newer one was pretty goddamn good, actually, on Netflix.
Stephanie grew up to be quite the woman.
Yes.
Yeah, but you got to give it what it is, though. As hokey as that show was, it lasted for 8 fucking years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When shows around that time, unless you were top notch, you 2 or 3 years, you're out the door.
Like 8 years during that period. Like, that was just a run.
And that was the time when family entertainment was becoming passé.
Well, and
Yeah, like
you're going to enforce my next point, is that we were a different country at that point.
Yes.
You had your TGIF Friday night, ABC. You had Family Matters,
Full House.
Full House,
That stupid ass dinosaur show.
Dinosaurs.
Oh, sorry. I'm glad you remember it.
Just, it was very, like, family centric and very, like, G-rated. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, you can't pick a fucking channel on the spectrum where you're going to get a show that has that wholesome quality to it.
And I love the
And
fact
I
that
respect the fact that they went that route from, like, 1987 to, like, 1996
something like that.
ish
And
on ABC.
When they
And Friday night is usually a
It's
doldrum.
a dead spot.
It's a death.
Unless you're older people where you watched Falcon Crest or all that bullshit, Dallas, which ran for 18 years on Friday nights. That's the Friday night crowd.
Not nowadays. Friday night is your death knoll.
Yeah.
You know you're on your way out because they
Unless
bounce
you're,
you.
unless you're SmackDown or sports, you're not getting viewers on Friday nights.
They bounce you around the schedule from Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and you end up on Friday nights. And then guess what? You're on Saturday nights, and that's your goodbye. That's your handshake.
I love the fact that when they rebooted that show for Netflix as Fuller House, and the cast and crew comes back minus the heroin twins, and it's always a wink and a nod. It's edgier programming, but they wink toward the wholesome family business from the late 80s, early 90s. I thought watching that because, you see, I always thought Danny Tanner was the character Danny Tanner, played by Bob Saget, was like a low-rent Mike Brady, trying to be wholesome American dad. And then the older I got, you see his comedy. And my Lord.
Again,
But I'll finish this up real quick. And is that as the show gets rebooted, he's winking and nodding to his blue comedy. And I'm playing like super mega, American wholesome dad who bakes muffins on the side. And you're watching this and knowing what you know now, and you watch the show now, and the writers would slide that joke in, and everybody got it.
Right, and you slide right into my next point, is that my favorite material from Bob Saget was his Blue stand-up comedy. All right, so you grow up with a guy who you think is like America's dad. That's what they considered him back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
He's America's dad. Mm-hmm. And you listen to his stand-up, you're like,
Yeah, is that the same guy?
did he just say cocksucker?
Yeah.
Did
there
he
was
just-
Cosby.
did-
there was Danny Tanner. I'm
did-
sorry, Cliff Huxtable, Danny Tanner. Christ, help me with the name. Keaton. Family Ties.
Michael Keaton.
No, that was Batman. The father.
Philip Gross.
Yeah, but what was his name on the
I
show? It
don't-
was Keaton.
I don't remember.
Is the only cast member I don't know is fucking. It was Google Machine.
Yeah, it was what's his name there, and the,
Stephen Keaton.
Steven.
Steven.
Steven. And
the blonde
Meredith,
daughter.
Meredith
Tina
Baxter-
Others.
No, that
Meredith
was-
Baxter
no,
Burney as the
no.
wife. Tina Others as the daughter.
Justine Bateman as
Justine
Mallory.
Bateman as Mallory. Michael.
What's the show you said?
Family Ties.
Yes. All right.
That
all
was
right.
another America's Dad. He was just that dude. You wanted him as your dad. And going back to Bob Saget, which is, the point of our conversation, you kind of did want Danny Tanner as your dad. Because he was that, he was a stiff,
I
but he was a
wanted-
cool stiff.
I wanted Tim Allen as my dad,
More power.
or Alan Thicke.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Christ. I'm more an Al Bundy guy. That's the dad I always wanted, was Al Bundy.
Oh, so what size shoe do you wear? Oh, you're a fucking flipper.
Hit the remote, hand cramped, just get it done.
All right, so and I'm gonna stress the order of these names are not based on any particular criteria or
Or even chronologically.
chronologically. It's just based upon what I've noticed in the last 2 weeks. John Madden
Oh, that one broke me.
died December 28th,
28th.
2021.
That one was rough.
84 years old, of what they're saying now is natural causes. All right, so there isn't a guy our age, between the age of 40 to 50, that John Madden didn't touch in his life in one way or another.
Not in a Cosby way.
Not in a, no, yeah, not in a. You get the
He's not
Jello,
Jared from Subway, for
Not
Christ's
Jared
sake.
from Subway.
get the Jello pudding pop with the special sauce in it. What can you say about Madden? I mean, he played professionally for.
No, he coached professionally. He never played ball once ever.
He got cut.
He never got.
got cut in
He
50
never played ball.
He got cut in 56.
He never played
Yeah,
ball.
he never played it down
So-
He
professional.
never played professional ball.
So what he did was he catered to his strength, which was motivation, inspiration, and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for these fucking players that he coached for how many fucking years, dude?
He's the only coach on record, and these are the two things that strike me. Three things that strike me most about John Madden, and why to me it's super tragic. One, he was the only coach in NFL history with 10 or more seasons as a coach who never had a losing season.
Never.
Never.
Second, he was a guy on commentary that got guys like me who never played a down of football other than out in the backyard, who basically he was my football teacher.
To get into the game.
Yeah.
To understand it.
I was
to
not a
learn to
football
break
fan
it
until I was a
down.
teenager, and John Madden did that.
Yep.
And the telestrator, which CBS called it Madden Vision, but
He invented that
Yes.
whole concept.
Yeah.
He was like, I need something so I can do
yeah,
this.
so I can explain to Chris Burns in Podunk, Connecticut, how this play worked.
That yellow line on the fucking
That was Fox and John Madden.
that was Fox and John Madden. He fucking did that.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
he wanted people to understand. He was like the best color commentator
Oh yeah, without
in
question.
the history of football.
Oh yeah, and the last
And
point,
his excitement and his
enthusiasm was just
oh my
electric.
God, dude.
It was infectious.
And then it led to a franchise of his.
Well, not only that, you got the commercials, whether it was Miller Lite or Ace Hardware or Tough Actin' Tenactin.
No tough acting.
Boom!
Acting.
And the third thing, before I mentioned the great and wonderful Frank Caliendo, is what about the video game franchise?
That's what I'm.
When you play a video game. Hey, you want to come over and play hockey? Yeah. You want to come over and play baseball on the Xbox? Yeah. What do you say when you ask somebody to come over and play football on the Xbox?
I'll be right there.
You want to play some Madden?
Yeah.
They don't call it NFL. You call it Madden because it was a franchise name, and it started as John Madden Football. Then he got the NFL license.
It started as John Madden's NFL Football.
Yeah. And do you remember some of the goofy names where, they couldn't use New England because it was a trademarked name? It was Foxborough.
Do you know the story on how that went down?
He got the Players Union and the NFL to go in on it.
He got approached, and they were like, look, John, Coach. They were like, Coach, we've kind of come up with this whole game thing, and we want to put your name on it. And I'd like to give you half a stake in the company. And he was like, man, if you want the coach, you got to pay the coach. Mm-hmm. So John Madden paid him some ridiculously, stupidly low number right then and there to get his name onto it. And it went forward. Now, 20 years later, John Madden could have owned half of what is now EA Sports. Mm-hmm. That's how important that deal was when it went down.
Right, and that game revolutionized the way you look at sports video games.
It's the only game, let's be honest. It started out as John Madden's NFL Football, and then it went to Madden NFL Football.
John Madden NFL, then Madden NFL.
Then Madden NFL. Now people literally...
Turn around and look at that case.
Right.
The NFL is real little, and it says Madden 20.
Right. It's literally his name and the year.
Yeah. And as I was saying while you were out of the room, hey, you want to come over and play WWE? Yeah. You want to come over and play hockey? Yeah. You want to come over and play baseball?
It's the only game on the planet that uses somebody's name as the title and is so widely recognized.
And when you just say, you don't say John Madden, you say Coach Madden.
You just have to say Madden.
Did you get the new Madden?
Oh, yeah, dude, I played 14 hours.
Right, but you're not saying, hey, did you get the new Madden NFL 20?
No, you're literally saying one word.
Madden.
That entire concept, that entire idea has been reduced and surmised in one word. Did you get the new Madden?
And that's something that for years and years and years going forward, he just passed away a couple weeks ago, long after he's dead. As long after we are dead, Madden, the game, and kids won't know that 30 years from now.
30 years from now, they won't understand.
Did you get the new Madden 50?
Yep.
Yeah. They don't know who fucking John Madden is.
Right. They're not going to know exactly where what started, that it started with nothing and an idea and a name.
And he was a guy that didn't take himself too seriously. And I brought up Frank Caliendo, who does the best John Madden impression on earth, where he actually reached out to Frank Caliendo and he said, hey, I'm having this party. I want you to go in as me. And I'm going to stand out here. It was like some benefit dinner. He's the main guy. And like, ladies and gentlemen, the guest of honor, John Madden. And out goes Frank Caliendo. With Brett Favre, boom! And the crowd is eating this shit up. And then Madden walks up behind him, next to him, as if, playing off, who the fuck are you?
Right, just kind of strolls up behind him.
Yeah, and but he didn't take himself too seriously, whereas comedian Craig Gass does a badass Gene Simmons impression, and Gene hated it. Until he's like, I'm paying homage to you. You're a hero of mine. And then Gene got it. But Madden got it immediately. When they always say, if someone dresses up as you for Halloween, you've made it.
Right.
And Frank Caliendo just took it a step further. Someone actually dressed as me for Halloween once at Mohegan Sun. I feel like I've made it. I was a Halloween costume. Right. But yeah, John Madden just transcends football to the point where if you don't know football, you know him from commercials, or you know him from video games, or you know him for, cripes. He did, what with
the Madden team?
The All-Madden team.
Players were literally caring more about whether they made the Madden team
than the Pro Bowl.
Than the Pro Bowl or the Super Bowl. Lawrence Taylor literally talks about, I watched the Madden thing. He literally talks about how, I got to do what my coach is, but you know what? I got to do some shit this week for John to talk about.
Yeah, right.
I got to give John something to fucking go off on. Like, they were literally going into games thinking, all right, the coach wants me to do this, but now I got to do some special shit so John Madden can talk
Right,
about
so
for
I get
John
that
Madden
Madden treatment.
Madden energy. And dude, they literally cared more about making the Madden team than making the game that week.
And you ask any player who appeared on the cover of the Madden football games, they're like, I may have won a couple Super Bowls and an MVP, but I'm a Madden cover guy.
Right. Yo, and that was the other thing. When they were in that tribute, they would hand them the ad, and they were like, oh man. Yeah, man. I remember the first time. I remember when they came and showed me this, and I was like, no way. I'm on the game.
There was, after the whole Aaron Hernandez debacle, somebody had made, there's a picture of Aaron Hernandez like celebrating a play, but they put a Glock in his hand.
Right.
And it said Madden, whatever year it was, Penitentiary Edition, and Madden had seen it. Oh, I wish I'd have thought of that.
Yeah. He totally, man, I wish I'd have thought of that.
That's the best
funny.
part is that Madden got it. And he never took himself too seriously.
No, he took what he did seriously, but he didn't take himself.
He didn't take himself seriously. He didn't think he was God's gift to football. He just knew, hey, I'm this big guy who can talk, and I can teach people the ins and outs of football.
Yeah, to the point where after the Raiders, he kind of went home and kind of was around the house, and his wife was like, he was just around the house and just hanging out, and like he needed to get the fuck out of here. And he went to one of the colleges and talked to them, and his love of football was so much that they offered an accredited course and basically learned the game, and he taught how the game of football worked. And it went for two complete seasons at the college. They ran for 2 years, but like that's what he knew how to do because he was a teacher. Or in order to coach, you had to teach.
Of course,
back then, at the high school and private level. So
and he took players that other people didn't want. He was Bill Belichick before Bill Belichick.
Right,
was cool.
He was the first guy to see something in the player that nobody else saw,
and he brought it out of you,
and knew how to bring it out, and knew how to quell everything else, and how to bring that thing right out of you.
The symphony is going strong downstairs.
Of course it is.
Oh, but I am easy for me to say. My tongue is in customs. I just got back from overseas. Herm and I kind of hijacked that segment, but for you, what did John Madden mean?
It was a childhood icon based upon his coaching ability, and like you said, the video games. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing a Madden football game, and Sega, Nintendo, PlayStation, PS2, any game system that you touched had John Madden.
It's still the #1 requested video game at Christmas time. Dude.
What was I playing when you
We're
guys...
talking 30 years.
Yeah, you were playing Madden when we walked in.
You were playing it when we walked in the fucking
now,
door
wait a minute.
tonight.
You see, and we touched on that earlier. He wasn't playing hockey. He wasn't playing baseball, and we didn't say
playing
he was
football.
playing. He was playing
Madden
football, and
it's the realest fucking football game on the planet, and you can't get around it.
When he was actually doing the voice color commentary for the games, was like my favorite decade of those games, because it's like you're listening to him play a live game.
Yeah, it's almost as good as Tecmo Super Bowl 3.
Almost. Again, like I said earlier in the segment, it's like these are people that touch my life in one way or another, un-Cosby like that put me into perspective of where what my tastes were. Where do we now? 25, 30 years later? Mm-hmm. I'm still playing those fucking games.
Yeah. I think the first one came out in 92. Just 30 years. He's going to the Google machine. We need to know.
I mean, here I am, almost 50 years old. I'm still playing video games.
Why not?
And you know what keeps me playing video games? Madden football.
Exactly.
He is like the #1 franchise in video game history. He's probably the best coach in NFL history.
One of them, sure.
One of them. I don't know. He's just a good dude, and he revolutionized a lot of how we watch football.
88.
Today.
88.
On what system? The old No Friendo?
First release, John Madden Football, June 1st, 1988.
On what platform?
It doesn't say. It's been listed on
It's got to
all
be
the
No
platforms.
Friendo.
It has to. I'm just going. It's just Wikipedia. It doesn't list what. It just lists what platforms it's been on. but
Wikipedia needs to step up their shit.
John Madden Football was listed as June.
Wow. So we're talking more 35, 34, 36 years.
Like I told you,
John Madden Football is a video game originally released for the Apple II in 1988. Following the success of Earl Weaver Baseball, it was later ported to MS-DOS and the Commodore.
Wow.
So it wasn't until like 98 that we actually saw it on Nintendo, and
We're going archaic now.
like,
Yeah,
like
we're
we're literally talking like
we're diving deep.
Some kid in New Zealand is like,
what the fuck is a Commodore?
He sang with Lionel Richie?
An Apple II? What watch was that?
The one without the alarm.
My mom had an iPhone too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, an iPhone 2? Oh, my mom had one.
You kids don't know shit.
Oh, nothing.
All the BU kids these
For
days.
real, you start the Commodore 64, and then you have to go like make a sandwich, put yourself some snacks,
Clean your room.
It took a half hour for the fucking game to load.
Hit play.
That music though, that 8-bit.
Yes, it was beautiful. We are definitely showing our age now.
Dude, you know when I'm doing stupid shit, and I'm sorry it's going off key, but the Mario music every now and again I'll be like.
Yeah, I start singing it, and when I get into a spot and I'm just doing rudimentary shit at work, it's literally what goes through my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Eat
like,
that fucking mushroom, you asshole.
Hell, we'd
real.
fire up Madden football back in the day, and the EA Sports, it's in the game. Hi, I'm John Madden, and welcome to Madden 96. And then the music would start, and you didn't hit start right away. You play.
No, you listened to it, you enjoyed it.
And then you hit start.
Then you hit start.
Oh, well, rest
Oh,
in peace, John Madden.
God, yes, sir.
We'll miss you.
Absolutely. Rest in peace, sir.
You were a solid dude.
He is a name. That name is going to outlive all of us.
Oh, most definitely. It'll be like 22-33.
And I don't say this to disparage.
We're now looking for. It's now Madden 1473.
Right, and not to disparage the Betty Whites and the Bob Sagets or anybody else on this list, but because of that game, his name will outlive his children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren. Madden 2116, it's in the game.
Yeah,
My great-grandchildren will be playing Madden long after I'm dead.
Yeah, for real. Like it was a complete. It was a complete change for society as far as entertainment was concerned.
Yeah. And for those who didn't like football, John Madden made it entertaining.
Right.
It got me into football, and I didn't like football.
Right. My mom didn't really care about football, but she could watch a game with John Madden all day long.
And that's another thing. When they used to get the turkey leg at the Thanksgiving game, John Madden, the MVP of the game, he would give that big ass
the turkey leg,
and then the turducken. We can't forget the turducken,
dude. No, not for nothing, but it was John. Without John Madden, it wouldn't have been what it was.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
He literally introduced and blew that up to the entire
from a
country.
Restaurant that he went to.
Right,
that he
it
loved.
was one guy. It was one guy, and they would produce like 300 of them a year, right? And John did the special that year. The next year, they produced 7,000 turduckens.
Ugh.
Like they couldn't.
And
keep
all he
up.
had to do was
Dude,
mention it on television.
Listen to him. Ugh.
What are you kidding?
You don't like chicken? Because you don't like turkey?
I don't like duck.
Oh.
Ugh.
Something just wrong with you.
Yeah, I'm considering banning you from the show right now.
Duck is delicious.
But you're leading the show, so I can't.
Duck is delicious.
Next week,
I'll
he's
bring
banned from the show.
Heard next week.
Go ahead, my friend.
All right, so next on the list, recent, which was yesterday, I believe. well, reported yesterday, is Sidney Poitier.
Wow.
Oh, that was reported a few days ago, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a couple days ago.
It was a
we
few
had,
days ago because
we had the thread.
It kind of like flew under my radar until I saw it pop up again on Facebook. 94 years old of undisclosed causes at this point. Basically old.
Yeah.
He's not going to guess who's coming to dinner anymore.
No. The legacy of Sidney Poitier, not only was he starred in one of my mother's favorite movies, To Sir with Love. I hate the term African American, so I'm not going to use it because Sidney Poitier was Bahamian.
It was Friday.
And,
it was Friday.
Okay. He was the first person of color, and that's where I'm going to stop with all the cutesy woke shit. He was the first person of color to win an Academy Award in 1964.
Yes, he was.
He was a stylish man. He was a smooth man. He was in all facets of life, he was a gentleman.
He was a huge champion for the civil rights movement.
Yeah,
he was a huge John Lewis, Harry Belafonte.
Yes, and he
all of these
MLK.
people. Yep, MLK.
He was instrumental.
Jesse Jackson. He was huge.
Instrumental in Nelson Mandela to get him released.
Yeah, I mean he was
from apartheid.
Yep,
that was huge, and he was a.
Sorry.
Chris is losing his shit over
All
here.
I can think of when he said Jesse Jackson is the Eddie Murphy bit. I just voted for Jesse Jackson. He fucking won. What the fuck? Running across the stage. My fellow Americans, as your president, I feel, are you watching that guy in the back? Because he got a rifle. He don't look happy.
You are killing me, Smalls.
He won't stand still.
He won't stand still.
But you know, I don't say fuck Jesse Jackson lightly. He's made some really controversial points in the last few years, but I would put Sidney Poitier above Jesse Jackson in that civil rights pantheon.
Yeah,
absolutely, 1,000%.
Absolutely, because he was instrumental in finding Nelson Mandela his freedom and justice from what he suffered through apartheid. Apartheid was just an ugly, nasty period in history.
Yes, it was.
You know, you're an indigenous person to. I don't even have to say go very far and make a big leap on this, but you're considered a natural indigenous person on this continent, but you're still a criminal. Come on, that's bullshit.
Right.
I mean, the Native Americans have been dealing with that for how many fucking years? I mean, you're preaching to the choir at that point, and it really brought the insanity of that mindset to the forefront.
Yep.
At the time, and Poitier was not afraid to put his reputation and his career out on the line.
No, he wasn't. He was not afraid to speak out and say what he felt needed to be said, whether it cost him a job or not.
Right. You know what? Fuck you. This is how I feel. If you don't want to hire me, don't hire me. Don't put me in your next movie. Don't put me, don't make me your lead character in this next film.
Right.
I'm not living here to be a superstar. I'm living here to be an ambassador to the people. And that's how I viewed him. And that's another, again, like I said earlier in the show, when I opened this whole segment, is like, these are people I consider icons and people I respect and people I looked up to through my life because of what they stood for. And Poitier stood for a lot of good things. He was a very good man. It made me very sad to see that he went. But again, as Mike said earlier, that, we're at a point in our lives where it's to be expected. And unfortunately, it's the truth.
Right. And
we're gonna lose these people that we thought were that we know that are icons and our inspirations to do what we think is right.
Right.
And
when we look at these people, though, and that's
it's just
a great
a
point.
It's just a fucking gut punch, no matter what.
We look at them because we're on the other side of a screen, or we're on the other side of a stage, or we're in the seats at a ball game, and to us, they are I don't know how you put this. They're not real somehow. We know they're real. They're flesh. They're blood.
Right. We know they're people, but they're not like actual people to us.
Right. Even if you meet them and you reach out and you touch them or what have you, they're way over here. And it does suck when they go, but it doesn't, it affects you a certain way. Like we talked about it a year and change ago when Eddie Van Halen passed away. What sucks worse is that, for Wolfgang Van Halen, he's without a father. For us, we're never going to get new material. We're never going to hear him again. We have the beauty of having a body of work to look back on with Sidney Poitier, with Bob Saget, John Madden, Betty White.
We can't compare what we feel to and to what
Right.
Eddie's
How
son
you
feels.
feel about Bob Saget passing away is not the same as someone like, say, John Stamos.
Right.
You
right,
know?
those guys, those people are crushed right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they've had shit ripped.
When
right
the
out of
Heroin
their
Twins
chest.
come out and make a statement
They're
from
gonna be
their
sad,
hovel,
too.
yeah, and they
You know,
did. They put
hurt.
out a beautiful tweet about he was a generous, loving, kind man. We considered him like a father because cripes, he watched them grow up and they grew up next
Right,
to him, and
right.
whatever they do in their life and in their self-righteous bullshit. I don't want to get into it, but
You got it, dude.
they came. No way, Jose.
You got it.
They came out and made that statement. I was like, okay, it affects them. It doesn't affect us. Yes, we're not going to get another comedy special. Yes, we're not going to get another run of Fuller House. My daughter was crushed to hear Bob Saget died.
Well, it's not.
Right, but they're never going to get a phone call,
Exactly.
a text
A
on their
Christmas
personal
card,
phone. They're never going to be able to like go to somewhere and see him and catch up.
we can miss the people we knew because we knew them. These are people that, yes, entertained us or taught us something, but they're not people that... I'm not going to go home tonight and cry the blues because we don't have, no offense to them, Betty White, John Madden, etc., so forth. Yes, it hurt. It touched me. But, yeah, I don't understand the hero worship.
It's touching at a different level.
Yes.
It's an emotional response that you get or takeaway that you get from their performance, their acting, their comedy, whatever the fuck it is they did. You lose that connection with them and you feel bad that it's kind of selfish, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And you feel that you're like, oh fuck, I'm never going to see a Bob Saget special again.
There's a poster on my wall, framed, that I've had since 1989 that was gifted to me by the man on the poster, Eric Carr. And when he died, it hurt me because I actually had a I don't want to say a friendship. It was a pen pal thing, and I got invited to the show, and I went backstage. It was so cool. Gene Simmons was a prick, but he was a prick to everybody, from what I understand. That was they called that the Gene is a prick tour because he was just a shithead to the fans. And when he died, I was like, fuck. I was building a relationship that. But again, you have the music, you have the videos, you have all this stuff. Same with John Madden, you have the video games. Betty White, you have all these people.
Well, and that's basically my point with when you lose a celebrity that you feel is in your high regard in your lifetime, it's not necessarily that you feel cheated. It's that you feel, fuck, man. You entertain me for 45, 50 fucking years of my life, or however long you've lived on the planet, and it just makes you sad. It's a sadness. It's not necessarily like, oh fuck, I knew Betty White. Like we went to have high tea every Tuesday.
I never drank with Dimebag Darrell, but he was my favorite guitar player, and that hurt. But I didn't act like I went fishing with him last week.
Right, exactly. It's not.
Right.
It's not necessarily that type of connection where you were like hanging out every weekend. It's a connection that he because of his art made to you and you appreciate. And the appreciation goes tenfold to what you think about that person.
Right. I never knew Elvis Presley, but there's not a time where I hear his songs and I'm like, God damn, I wish I could have seen him. I wish I could have met him. I wish I could have done anything.
I'd be honest with you, I wish I could have seen Elvis perform in my lifetime, but he died in 1977?
Yep.
76?
You want to hear a morbid story before we get into the last two?
Yeah.
1980, 5, my family and I went to Disney World. We're staying in the hotel. We're down there for the week, and my mom loved Ozzie and Harriet. My mom loved the music of Ricky Nelson, and we had seen in the paper, yes, back in the days where people actually read the paper and didn't use it just to wrap their fucking breakables when they move, that Ricky Nelson was playing at a club right down the street from our hotel on New Year's Eve. We're set to fly out on the 2nd to come back to Connecticut. My dad's like, oh, you want to go to the show? We'll go to the show. Yeah, Ricky Nelson, yay, whatever. Like, no, I'm sorry. He was playing on the 30th. No. You know, according to the newspaper, the tour is going to run up through Connecticut. He's going to be playing either Toads or the Webster or whatever. You know, we could go when he swings up there in late January. Day later, died in a plane crash.
Jesus Christ.
And my mom, yes, she was crushed that, you know, here's someone I liked his music, I liked his acting, I loved the show. She was more pissed that she got robbed of the opportunity. She had this opportunity. There was another one down the road, and she couldn't make it happen. That was like a bucket list thing for her. I want to see Rick Nelson. And I don't think two shits about Rick Nelson back then, but over the years, you dive into the body of work. Ricky Nelson was a fucking phenomenal musician.
Yeah, he was very good.
But yeah, that goes back to a lot of these people that we're talking about. You either didn't get to see them or didn't get to meet them, but you've seen their body of work, and yeah, you're right. It does touch you in a particular way.
It sparks an emotional response to what you appreciate about the certain person. Like, you know, when it comes to like John Madden, Bob Saget, Betty White, those are people that I finger quote grew up with. Mm-hmm. Bob Saget, I mean, his best work to me was his stand-up comedy. As blue as it was, it showed a different side of the guy that you never, ever would expect.
Like you said earlier, did he just say cocksucker?
Yeah,
Danny
exactly.
Tanner said cocksucker?
And, you know, it
It's like the first time I heard Bill Cosby say the word asshole.
These were people that were icons in your life that you basically babysat you when you got home from elementary school, before you did your homework, before you had dinner, that would like kind of like
you had reruns of the Golden Girls or
help
Full House or
help you grow up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And whether you love the show or not, you don't have to love the show. You just got to love the performance. And that's what I loved about Bob Saget, because I knew inherently in 1986, 87, that he was not that guy he portrayed.
No.
You could tell, because it was, like you said, a wink and a nod to being the Beaver Cleaver type fucking, you know, straight man. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he had his two foils, Jesse and Dave Coulier there, or whatever.
Uncle Joey,
and all that bullshit.
Just once for old time's sake. Cut it out. Who's next on the list?
So next for me is going to be Peter Bogdanovich.
Easy for you to say.
Passed away 6th of January this year. Parkinson's disease. Very kind of sad story. Came on very quickly. Came on very suddenly. Just ravished him. Mm-hmm. And Parkinson's is a terrible, terrible disease.
It got Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
Isn't Michael J. Fox currently suffering?
He is suffering, but battling due to experimental methods to kind of subdue the tremors and the other stuff that go along with it.
For those that don't know Peter and his body of work, tell them some of the films that he did.
Oh, Last Picture Show. Let's see. There's a fucking ton of them.
When you brought up that name, I was like, I thought it was Rudy, the basketball player.
No.
And now I'm typing in Rudy. God damn it. Peter. There he is. First thing that comes up. I want to see the body of work.
No, he's got
Last Picture Show, Paper Moon. What's
Moon.
up, Doc? Wow.
Paper Moon, which was an Academy Award winner.
She's funny that way.
For
Mask. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I love that fucking movie.
Paper Moon, which was a
Thing Called Love.
Academy
Jesus.
Award winner for Jodie Foster,
Yeah.
like one of the youngest actresses to win Best Actress ever for the
Wow.
Oscars.
He. Chapter 2 of it.
And
Wow.
he also was an actor. He was in The Sopranos. He played a psychologist to Lorraine Bracco.
Wow. Okay, stop. Time out. Offsides. Clipping. He did To Sir with Love 2
Yes.
with Sidney Poitier.
Yes. So that's
Unfucking believable.
there's a connection there. And he was kind of like a maverick filmmaker. He did what he wanted to, and he did it unapologetically. Like, fuck you, I want to do this. I'm going to say Paper Moon is probably one of the best examples of that kind of filmmaking. Just a very, very, very good filmmaker with good foresight and good, I don't know, good vision. He understood what he wanted to do, and he was not going to apologize for any choice he made to make those films. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. He set the fucking pavement down for like Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez,
Good call.
Kevin Smith. Those guys of those ilk. You want to do what you want to do it. Just don't fucking apologize for it.
All right, listen, I know some of you guys aren't religious, so if you'll indulge me for 30 seconds, hello, God, it's me, Margaret. At least that's what I call myself today.
All right, Judy.
I identify as Margaret. So, listen, I know a couple years ago you tried to take Kevin Smith, but if you come near him, I swear to God, I will murder everybody in this town not named Chris or Mike. Thank you. I love you. Good night.
Yeah, that was quite the scare for him too. I mean,
You watched that special. How fucking weird was that?
having met him several times in my lifetime, like one of the most down to earth fucking people you would ever want to meet,
Right.
and just like very relatable.
Yep.
He when he was making Clerks, he financed the entire movie based upon credit cards and his comic book collection.
And it like you said, it goes back to I don't want to say outlaw, but like a cavalier attitude that Peter Bogdanovich had.
He's going to make the movie he wants to make, regardless of whether you feel that it's the right choice or not.
The one movie I wish he would have made was Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. How much different could that story have been?
Last Picture Show was one
Fucking
of it.
fantastic.
Great movie. That was
Sybil Shepherd.
Sybil Shepherd's first movie. What's Up, Doc? Paper Moon, Daisy Miller, Saint Jack. All
Classics.
fucking great fucking Texasville, which is a phenomenal,
Oh my Lord! I
phenomenal
forgot about
fucking movie.
Wasn't that Sybil Shepherd as well?
Yes, 1990. Wrote, directed, produced.
It was. Some people thought it was character names aside. It was. They said it was the sequel to the Last Picture Show, but it didn't. It was different, but same.
In spirit, it was.
Yes.
Noise is Off, which was another great fucking movie that was totally overlooked by the critics and the Academy and the Golden Globes, all that other shit.
The critic can suck it.
Well, so here's a fun fact. I didn't know the fucking Golden Globes were last night. They didn't even have a fucking ceremony.
No,
The Golden Globes are still a thing.
Yeah, they just released it today. They just released the list.
They released
How fucking
the
wonderful!
list of winners.
They didn't have a show. I have no issue with that. I don't think they should do a fucking show to begin with.
No, just give the fucking award. They don't have the, you know, and oh, good point. They don't have the MVP of the different sports big award show. Why should they have them? I get the Oscars. Let's the Academy Awards
I think
aside.
all of them should go right the fuck away. There's
Right.
no need to just release the list.
I don't give a
them
shit
the
what
award,
gown
fuck
you're
off.
wearing at the Grammys. If you win a Grammy, get the fucking Grammy.
Oh, can I see your shoes? I don't give a fuck.
Who are you wearing today? You know what? I've always wanted to win one of those awards.
I'm wearing my grandmother.
And who are you wearing today? Walmart. Next. This jacket was made by Walmart. It's from the George line.
Yeah.
The pants I've had forever. The tag fell off. Don't know who that is. And the shoes, got them at Target.
Yeah,
Clothes
dog
for rich white people.
dog shit on the bottom.
That's because Paris Hilton came through here earlier with her little menacing mutt. But yeah, great director, great,
Yeah.
just everything. I'm sorry I didn't know the name when you said it, but as I looked through the body of work, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Again, like a maverick and a rogue, and again, he set precedent for guys decades behind him that would. Again, you wouldn't have Quentin Tarantino without Bogdanovich.
Right.
You wouldn't have Robert.
And you wouldn't have had Bogdanovich without Hitchcock.
Correct. Yeah. Alfred Hitchcock is one of my favorite fucking directors of all time. That's a totally different episode. I can do
Total sidebar.
do a total dissertation about how fucking perfect he was.
Complete sidebar. I want you guys to go to your Google machines, and I want you to type in the name Paul Heyman, and tell me that Paul Heyman does not look like a modern day Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, he does.
I watched him waddle his fat ass out on Friday, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, dude, he got fat. He looks like Hitchcock. Fat fuck. He looks like a walrus, actually.
Hitchcock used like mental anguish to get the performance out of his actors.
He was a guy that, and I think going back to Bogdanovich as well, it's not what you saw, it's what you didn't see or you thought you saw.
It's what you thought you saw, like John Carpenter.
Yes.
Halloween, Zero Blood.
Yeah. It's what you didn't see that made it scary.
It's what you don't see that makes it fucking scare the shit out of you, and you just don't get that.
I'm throwing the gauntlet down right now. Next week, we have to have an uplifting episode because all this death is just, it's casting a pall, no pun intended, and whatever. We're going to have some fun next week. Who's left on the list?
All right, so my last on the list is something you and I discussed was Dan Reeves died New Year's Day, 77 years old, running back for the Cowboys from 65 to 72.
Can't hold that against him.
72 win on the Super Bowl against the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. Again, like another talent that was kind of like overshadowed by the other guys that were in his wheelhouse at the time. I think he was not a great player. He was a good technical player.
Most coaches were never the best players.
No. When you're a good coach, you know how to motivate your team.
For every Joe Torre who was an MVP player who became a great manager, you have a John Madden or a Dan Reeves or, the list goes on and on. Earl Weaver was not a great ball player. Billy Martin was not a great ball player. He played with great players. But Billy Martin's never going to be confused with Derek Jeter or someone else, much like Dan Reeves is never going to be held in the same pantheon as Emmitt Smith.
But the point is they learn from those good players and learn how to motivate their players to play to that
There's
potential.
a reason why backup quarterbacks like John Harbaugh or even Jim Harbaugh or Jason Garrett, who spent more time on the sidelines holding a clipboard, calling plays in, they become great coaches. But you could not take, and I'll say this till...
They're focused on how the game is played.
Exactly.
They're not focused on being in the game and playing the game.
Dan Marino...
They're seeing it from a third person's
Dan Marino is a
perspective.
great commentator. Boomer Esiason, great commentator. Tom Brady, eventually, one day, I think would be a fantastic commentator. But when you look at, say, for every Jeff Gordon, who went on to go into the booth in NASCAR and was a great analysis, help me here.
Analyst.
Analyst, thank you.
Analyst.
Well, for Jeff Gordon, anal is the operative word.
Right, you've got 100 Tony Stewarts.
Look at those commentators. Clint Boyer, never the best. Kyle Petty, never the best. Michael Waltrip, never the best. But they see things from a different eye that, the greats couldn't. I dare say you couldn't have Dan Reeves as a coach if he were a phenomenal knockout player.
Right.
And, he coached the Denver Broncos. He, unfortunately, I don't think he was part of the Super Bowl run in 90.
No, he never had a Super Bowl run with them.
Nope. He went to the Super Bowl with Atlanta in 1999.
It was 3 years later after Shanahan took over.
Yeah. He went to the Super Bowl with Atlanta. We got crushed. It seems to be a running fucking theme around here. But as a coach, he was a chill guy. He wasn't one that got in faces and grabbed face masks. He got the most out of his players just by relating to them. And again, an enduring memory. The fact that he lived till 2022, when he had a heart attack on the sidelines in '98 with the Falcons.
I remember that too.
And the game, it stopped for a spell, but, the game goes on. We have to play the game. We're going to take him to the hospital. They played that game for him. And win, lose, or draw, I don't remember the outcome. It was, it showed his toughness when 4 weeks later he's back on the sidelines against doctor's orders. This is what I do for a living. And I am really good at it. And I'm going to go back to work because I can't sit in this house one more fucking day.
Right.
And Dan Reeves was just that kind of guy, inspirational, much like a Coach Gibbs, much like a Jimmy Johnson, the football coach, not the gay-ass NASCAR driver, like a John Madden. But overshadowed, had Madden not passed away, Coach Reeves is a bigger story than it is.
Well, these are guys that learned how to exploit people's strengths and cater to their weakness. You want to cater to their weakness to the point where you're like, make them confident and like, I know you don't like
I know what
doing
you're
this.
saying. Accentuate the positives,
Yeah.
mask the negatives.
Exactly. And then once you get those negatives kind of like blanked out to make them not think about it, not make them self-conscious about what those negatives are on the field, you're gonna make a phenomenal ball team, whether it's baseball, football, hockey, soccer, whatever. If you're a good fullback in soccer and I switch you out to right wing and you're not so strong in it, what am I going to do?
You lost me at soccer.
I was just going to say, nobody cares about soccer.
Radio free 5 minutes.
No, my point is, though, is like if you're a good fullback in soccer, but you're a terrible right or left wing on those positions, what am I going to do? I'm going to challenge you to get better. I'm going to make you get fucking better at those
You could have
positions.
said shortstop and third base. You could have said middle linebacker versus outside linebacker. The
I know
fact
you
that
guys
you
don't-
went European football on my
I know you
ass-
guys don't follow soccer. And I played soccer as a youth.
I know you did.
And
Oh, I did too, but I could care less about it now.
I honestly I could too, but my point being is that you're going from one extreme to the other.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand the defensive and the offensive part of the entire component of the game. Whether you're a shortstop, a pitcher, a catcher, a fucking left fielder, a full.
Oh, okay. No, I see where you're going with this.
You have to. If you can't be a well-rounded player unless you played every fucking. To me, personal opinion.
You got to try it.
You got to try every fucking position on that field to understand exactly what the other player goes through. Because if you're the first guy to fucking complain, if you're a right cornerback, to complain about somebody else on your team that you don't understand their role, well, then you got all your errors just fucking wasted.
So when it comes to Dan Reeves, and I'll say this now, when you look at that 1998/1999 Falcons team, you have, for every Ray Buchanan, for every Jesse Tuggle, for every, what was his name, Jamal Anderson, you had a team of stiffs. When your kicker is older than dirt, Morton Anderson, when your quarterback has played for every team and got cut from every team like Chris Chandler, he took a collection of stiffs and 3 or 4 potential superstars to not only a 14-2 record, they were the first seed that year and nobody gave them half a chance. They go all the way to the Super Bowl, and then the Broncos ate their lunch, kissed their wives, and walked out of the house with everything they owned. 34-19, I'll never fucking forget it. But Kiss played the pre-show, made it all good. Dan got the most, much like Coach Madden, he got the most out of people that nobody gave a chance to.
Right, and that's the important part about pro sports, I think, personally, is that, you have to put those people in that scenario and situation where you're not comfortable with. Fucking break them out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Put them in the QB's eyes, put them in the center's eyes, put them in the kicker's eyes, put them in whatever fucking defensive or offensive backers that you want to make them understand this is what makes the component work. This is a machine. I can replace you with a different cog. May not work, but I can pull you out and put a fresh new cog in, shiny and oily, and get a better result or the same result. Guess what? If it's the same result, that's on me as a coach.
Right.
And that's how I feel that Dan Reeves filled his position as being a coach, is because he would take the brunt and the hit for, fuck it, made a mistake. You know what I mean?
Yep. Coached your team for several years. You're
He did.
wearing the colors right now of the Denver Broncos.
I am.
Your opinion on Dan Reeves?
I liked him as our coach. I didn't really pay attention to him as a player, and I didn't pay attention to him after he left the Broncos. But I was very happy with him. He had some great years during the Elway years. Man, it was those two did some amazing shit. Mm-hmm. That's it. He was just a great coach, and he did a really great job with my favorite team.
Yeah. Brought them from also Rans to perennial championship contenders.
Yeah, like yearly, like top, like
like they had,
top three yearly.
They had, much like a lot of teams, they have the ups and they have the downs. And Coach Reeves, endured all of that. But once he got his system in place, they became perennial contenders.
Yeah.
And then he goes and Shanahan comes in and they go to 2 Super Bowls. Shanahan got dealt a good hand by Coach Reeves.
Yeah, Shanahan walked into a good team and just tweaked it.
Yep. Much like the comparison of Joe Torre and Joe Girardi. Joe Torre left behind a fantastic team. Girardi takes them and they win the championship in 2009, the Yankees.
Right.
But that's not because Joe Girardi's a great fucking coach. It's because you got handed 4 aces by Joe Torre.
Right.
And, when I look at Coach Reeves and what he leaves behind is much like everybody we've talked about on this list, he did it his way, but I liken him a lot, and I said it earlier, to Coach Gibbs, where he didn't have to yell. His words meant more than the volume of his words.
Right.
And Coach Reeves got the most out of people you thought the least of.
Agreed.
Yeah, anything else? Final thoughts on the great exodus of wonderful people in the last 2 weeks?
Well, just like I said earlier, it's kind of a shock to the system that we're losing these icons in our lifetime. And as Mike Herman said earlier, it's to be expected. Just sucks, These are people that we grew up with, that we went through our professional sports career following, or acting following, or whatever the case may be, and we followed them diligently, and we followed them and appreciated them for anything they did. And it's just sucks that here's another talent we're losing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the next couple of weeks are going to be just as fucking shitty, because everybody's getting up there in age.
Let's hope not. Bob Barker is right now, I think, is the oldest American icon on the list at 98. So once again, hi God, it's me, Margaret. That's who I identify as today. Can you not take Bob Barker this year? Thank you.
And please remember to spay or neuter your pets.
And be with the starving pygmies in New Guinea. Amen.
No, I just think that we're us as a generation are going to start losing these icons in our life that we respect and grew up with.
Right.
And it's just a fact of life.
It's unfortunate. And if you have any thoughts that you would like to share, junctiondysfunctionshow@gmail.com. You can send in your thoughts of any of these wonderful icons that we've lost, show ideas, critiques, criticisms. You want Herm's pastrami recipe? Maybe he'll give it to you.
Doubtful.
Now,
I might.
with the 2 or 3 so minutes we have left, I'm going to ask Herm a question. It's a production question. What was our highest rated episode that we've done so far?
Right now, the episode with the most views is Questions from the Hat, episode 3.
then I am throwing an executive order on the table next week. We are going back to the hat. We're going to have some fun. And I hear drums in the distance. Oh, shit, they're coming to get us, Lynch.
There they are.
All right, for Big Herm, for Chris Lynch, my name is Chris Burns. We will see you next week from the hat.